Gallup finds a significant uptick in the name identification of Mike Huckabee. One of the presidential candidates who is getting the most attention from the news media at the moment is former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. He's come from nowhere in Iowa to be leading in at least some polls, and in our national polls is doing pretty well, challenging Rudy Giuliani. Let's look at his name ID numbers. We first asked Americans about Mike Huckabee in August. That tells you something right there. We didn't even bother to ask about him before that point because he was 1% in our polls. And as recently as early November, we just had 36% name ID for Mike Huckabee. But now in our most recent poll, November 30 through December 2nd, Huckabee's name ID has shot up to 49%. And of that, we now have a 2-to-1 ratio, favorable over unfavorable. So Huckabee has really emerged on the national scene. Not yet a household name, of course, but clearly his name ID is much higher than it was. Now, separately, right after Thanksgiving, in a different poll, we did ask Americans an open end about Mike Huckabee. We said, what comes to mind when you think about former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee? And when we did that, now mind you, that's a week or two ago, a lot of time has gone by since then, we had only 35% of Americans who knew enough about Huckabee to be able to verbalize some statement about him in that poll. So when we ask Americans to be specific, put them on the spot, so to speak, they're less able to talk about him than just to give an opinion. What do we find when we ask Americans to tell us what they think about Mike Huckabee? Well, nothing dominant comes out of the numbers. Some Americans just say they like him, he's a nice guy. There are some signs in the data that Americans know some specific things about him. A small percent of Americans say he's a Christian, that's what they know. He's down to earth, he's nice, he's a conservative, he's health conscious and lost a lot of weight. And 1% of Americans say what they know about Mike Huckabee is that he has been endorsed by Chuck Norris, the actor, martial arts star. Clearly his star is rising at the moment. We'll keep monitoring his image in the minds of Americans in the weeks ahead leading up to Iowa. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Editor-in-Chief of the Gallup poll.